Howdy, folks. Can you stand another episode of the Mikestand? Watch in amazement as Mike checks things.
YouTube seems to be being a little slow right now in terms of going live.
Thrill at Mike's disgust towards YouTube. Reel from the long pauses.
Okay, Tim, can you just? No, I know, Tim.
I'm muting myself right now. Hold on.
All right. I was trying to listen to the YouTube screen when it came on, so I would know to, so that I would know to. I was like, because I've had situations before. The reason I do things the way I do like that when I'm checking the mic on the YouTube is because I've had situations where I've gone into a show and people, and you may have even been one of them who's had to tell me, "Hey, you're not coming through clear, or you're coming in choppy," and I wasn't even aware that there was an issue until somebody told me. So that's why I have to do this.
I was just goofing around. All you
I know,
gotta do.
I know.
You know what you gotta do is the first thing is go check. Do it kind of a check.
Yeah. And that's what I generally do, or I just say like, "Hello, everybody." It's like. But anyways, everything's pretty much clear now. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mikestand. We, of course, if you guys can help us out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and/or ask questions, and we'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. Before we talk about what's on tap for tonight, I'm going to hand it off to Tim here. So you can do an intro if you'd like, maybe share some links, promote what he's doing.
Yes. I am Tim Olson, the creator of Melvin, which is available on Walmart, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and Powell's. Back to you, Mike.
All right, you're not going to share links tonight?
Oh, I will. Just discuss amongst yourselves. Here's a topic. Mike stand is neither Mike nor a stand. Discuss.
All right. So, anyways, as he's pulling up the pulling up his links and stuff, and we'll share them when he gets them up. Tonight, of course, once we get all the intro stuff done, tonight's going to be a little bit more of a positive spin. I know everybody has their own opinions about what we talked about last night, and oftentimes, sometimes the laws and the morality of a people do not always mesh, but everybody does have the right to their own opinion. So that's all we're going to say on the matter right now. But tonight, what we're going to do, we're going to focus on something a little more positive. We're going to look at the Indie Comic Showcase from Bleeding Fool. We're going to, of course, highlight. We're going to kind of go over Chris Braley's interviews with these people and do our part to help promote their works. And I do see that Tim has put some links up, so we'll start showcasing those. Is one of them. Are you done sharing links, or are you still sharing some links?
Yes, continue.
All right. So here we got the Walmart link to Melvin 1 Special Edition paperback. If you guys want to, check any of these projects out. Here's the other Walmart one for Melvin 2 Special Edition paperback. This one right here, .ca something.
That's for Amazon.
Oh, Amazon. Okay, so here's the Amazon, and is this another Amazon one? I guess
Yes.
these two are basically for Amazon, for Melbourne 1 and 2 for Amazon, right?
Yep. And then there's one for Barnes and Noble. I think that's pretty much good enough on the links right now.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, then, why don't we go ahead and get going on tonight's materials? Let's see. As soon as I can figure out where I want to go here. Oh yeah, there we go. That's where I was trying to go. All right. All right, so here we go. Indie Comic Showcase number 267, Pistol Shrimp, Scales, and The Fog Within. Article by Chris Braley, published April 3rd, 2024. What do you think of those titles? What, Tim?
Pistol Shrimp?
Scales and the Fog Within. What do you think of those title names?
I would have to know more. Sounds odd, but I guess it's supposed to. I guess.
But the thing is that even though we're obviously going to find out more as we get into the article. I just wanted to see if you had any kind of interesting first impressions upon hearing or reading those.
Right.
So, anyways, welcome back to another installment of Indie Comic Showcase, the weekly blog where we signal boost a few truly independent comics that are currently crowdfunding their projects, crowdsourcing their funding in some way, or just completely self-publishing on their own. Every little bit of support for these creators matters, from a single dollar pledge to the $25 bundle. And of course, the higher tiers are usually fun too. Even if you can't back a campaign or buy a book, you can share or tweet about these projects to your friends and followers. On Indie Comic Showcase, we interview the creators, show off some art, and tell you how you can check out the product for yourself. Although we have some outstanding crowdfunding campaigns this week for you to learn about, enjoy, and hopefully support by backing one or more of them. Thanks for checking these out and for being the best part of Indie Comic Showcase. Let's jump in. Scale by Greg I believe it's Moquin. Moquin. So before we get into that, let me go grab the link to that so we can share it in the chat. And this is a Kickstarter campaign. Mm-hmm.
Let me guess. It's a book about some kind of sea-dwelling character.
Well, it could be. Well, I guess we'll wait to see, won't we? All right. So here's the link to that. If you guys want to go check that, it's on Kickstarter. Now that we're shared the link, let's go ahead and so Scales. Let's see, Cernova Comics presents, or Cernova Comics presents Scales. Now that looks more like lightning to me than anything else, because of the brightness there. But all right, so Chris Braley, welcome to Indie Comic Showcase this week. Greg, tell me what your comic Scales is all about. Greg Moquin, a young Eric Drakeson, goes on a tropical family vacation where his life is altered forever. This was part of our flagship series, The Seer Chronicles, and edited it to be its own series. Scales is one of the main characters in our upcoming Team Up limited series. Well, it seems maybe that it could potentially be a superhero comic here, because it almost seems like this is kind of like the origin story. It seems like. Chris, who is this comic aimed at? Greg, anyone that likes supernatural superhero stories? Didn't I just say that? Look, I'm
Yeah,
clairvoyant, aren't I?
I don't know. I think I was kind of right. It did say on a tropical vacation, and where's usually a tropical place? An island at, I don't know, sea.
Yeah, if you like the Goonies, Indiana Jones, or the Count of Monte Cristo,
Oh, that's
you
a nice one.
you'll like Scales. I think the three of them are kind of. I don't see much of the similarity between maybe more between Indiana Jones and
I
Count
think
of
it's
Monte.
because it's a grand adventure. Like the Count of Monte Cristo is a guy. This pretty much he's an old guy with dementia, pretty much thinking he's fighting like giants when he's actually fighting windmills, and he's living like a knight or something. But it's still a grand adventure though. In
Actually, I
the
thought the Count of Monte Cristo was the one where he had been sent to prison by like three very rich, powerful people, and then when he gets out, he changes his identity and basically gets his revenge on them. I thought that was what Count of Monte Cristo was.
um. Well, are you sure? Am I wrong?
Well, let me go take a quick peek here. Go to Wikipedia.
Maybe I'm wrong. What was the one about the guy who he's basically some old guy who thinks he's a knight or something?
I don't know that one, but the Count of Monte, because I've seen some variations. The Count of Monte Cristo, which was basically it was written by Alexander Dumas in between 1844 and 1846, and it's been adapted by a number of different stories here. So the plot Marcel and Chateau d'If on the day in 1815 when Napoleon escaped from Elba.
Wait, hold on. I think I got it confused with Don Quixote.
Don Quixote. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. I'm sorry. Continue.
No problem. I because I've seen some other adaptations of it. That's how
Yeah.
I like and there was an actual anime that actually was made from it.
Yeah. Well, I was wrong. I was way off. So continue.
Sounds like your dog's wanting attention.
She barks at everything. And sometimes it's annoying.
Chris, talk about your creative team that contributed to this project. I have to remind myself who the guy's name. Oh, Greg. It was Greg. That's it. Greg Moquin. Greg. Adam Fields did the pencils. Sean Barber inked it. David Flesher wrote the story. I created the plot. February Ferdian colored the comic. And Jerome Gagnon is the letterer. I created the plot for Scales, then hired David, the writer, to write the comic. I've been writing comics since 2014, so 10 years, but started publishing in 2019, so 5 years. This book has been done for a couple of years, just never had a chance to launch a campaign for it. Now, before I continue on, looking up who wrote the Count of Monte Cristo, as it were, it does remind. Have you ever seen The Shawshank Redemption?
Yes. Yes, I have
Okay.
seen Shawshank.
And do you remember the one scene where the guys are like going through the book and they came upon they Count of Monte Cristo and they said by Alexander Dumbass.
Right.
And Tim Robbins' character actually had to correct him. No, it's actually pronounced Dumas, or Dumas, you know. So, and then he kind of like enlightened them, saying, um, you know, yeah, you'll like it. It's about a jailbreak, and then they go, oh, that goes in the how-to section. Oh yeah.
I like it when the one of the his harassers ends up meeting up with the head guards in his cell, and he beats the living bejesus out of him. But,
Mm-hmm.
he, but they nicknamed that little guy they called them like the fairies or the ladies or the
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head, but anyways, continuing on with the article here,
hey,
Chris, what's the biggest lesson you've learned about crowdfunding and creating through this process? Um, Greg, patience, waiting for your time with your art teams to do your project. Chris, are there any special features in this book or the campaign you'd like to mention? Greg, yes. At $3,500, we unlock our glow in the dark cover. You also could choose our $150 tier to be added to issue two. Okay, I should have probably did this a little slower earlier, but I'll go back up because I know you're gonna probably want to look at the art a little bit here. I know I kind of was breezing through it a little bit there. What do you think of the art here, Tim?
shoot. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I know I didn't kind of breeze into the article here, not giving you a chance to look at the art because I know you probably would be more into the art. So,
It does give off that action, well, that adventure kind of Goonies kind of thing. Yeah.
let's see. Chris, what's next after this campaign? More tales to tell? Greg, oh, we have a lot to tell. The first arc is 3 issues, which lead into our team up limited series. Chris says, "Good luck." All right. So, any impressions on this first book we just looked over?
It looks more like the Goonies. I mean, kind of has that vibe.
Hmm. All right. The Fog Within by Sean Wood. And before we get into that, I'll give you a chance to look at the as I get ready to go grab the link to put in the chat. And this is another Kickstarter campaign.
It does seem there's a lot of Kickstarters on there.
Yeah. Well, I know Chris will do any. He's done Kickstarter, he's done Indiegogo, he's done Fund My Comic, he's done a lot of them. A lot of these indie um, indie projects. So the Fog Within. And for those of you, and I just Elf just joined us. Uh, so
Was
there,
that the Empire State Building? I don't know.
is that the Empire State Building? I don't think so, but um, Fog Within. This is the next book we're looking at. So if you guys want to check that out. Any first impressions here, Tim?
Is it like a post-apocalyptic kind of adventure?
It does look like that a little bit. Hmm. Let's find out. Let's see. Chris Braley, welcome to Indie Comic Showcase, Sean. What's your elevator pitch for The Fog Within? Sean Wood, The Fog Within is I guess you were right there, Tim, is a dystopian sci-fi 24-page comic book which follows what seems to be an average Joe protagonist, Hunter, into the unfamiliar new world of a future with an unsuspecting and mysterious power. In the present, there is a catastrophic event that takes place. Shortly after, Hunter is suddenly pushed through a fog like portal, and he doesn't know how he got there. Cole and his elite rebels find and protect him from the Swarm, the soldiers in their era, and their leader in the shadows. They think Hunter is the answer to the prophecy they have been waiting to come true. Hmm. Here's some more of the art here.
Okay, so he's somebody from the present who's pushed into a future.
That's what I'm guessing. Yeah, that's what it sounds like they said there. In other words, somebody from like our time who was sent maybe like a thousand years into the future or something like that. It's very similar to I guess the Commandi story in well, not as much because Commandi wasn't sent forward in the future. He just happens to be in the future, but. Chris, where did the idea for this comic come from? Sean, one day I was running on a foggy morning and I had the random thought, what if I ran through this fog and ended up somewhere in the future? And the idea for this world and its characters was born. Now, mind you, I have heard, there's a lot of stories like that. The idea of going through a fog and finding yourself going from one place and drastically to another like that, almost like a fog having some kind of mystical or magical effects that can transport you to another time and place and all that. Um, that's actually a common thing in a lot of really sci-fi stuff, lost world type stuff. Hmm. Oh. Hmm. Let's see here. Chris, what kind of comic reader would you say this is best suited for? Sean, if you like stories with superpowers, rebels, dystopian futures, overlords, futuristic weapons, and world building, then this is the book for you. It's G.I. Joe meets X-Men in the apocalypse with a mysterious fog. Jim, what do you think of that premise?
Sorry. GI Joe meets.
I'll read
Okay.
that. I'll read that part again. Just
Okay.
GI Joe. If it's GI Joe meets X Men in the apocalypse with a mysterious fog.
Hmm.
What do you think of that
Well,
particular?
it sounds like a gumbo there. It's interesting. So they're what they're saying is they're military like and they have powers like mutants.
Yeah, it almost sounds a little bit like Alpha Core too. You know,
Does it?
well, I mean, Alpha Core, you got a superhuman police force in that, right?
Right.
I think so.
Hmm. So let me get this. Okay. Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, most things are kind of a gumbo nowadays, anyway.
Chris, what influenced this story for you? Sean, the influence for the type of story and look was the over-the-top nostalgic 90s feel with a modern take. I took a lot of influence from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, X-Men, and some Mad Max undertones. Do you see that in this?
Yeah, I can see that.
Chris, who is the creative team? Sean, I am the writer. David Dion is the penciler inker. Josh Rodriguez is my colorist, and Justin from Letter Squids is my letterer designer. I met everyone through different Facebook groups. What's your production workflow like? Chris asked, and then Sean. So for the second issue, David penciled and inked each page in one day. After we had about 5 pages, I started sending them to my colorist. All 24 pages are inked. By the time the Kickstarter is over, everything should be colored and lettered and ready to go to print. Hmm. So they're on top of it. It would seem, huh, Tim?
Yep.
Chris, what have you been learning from self-publishing through this process? Sean, for the first issue, I was learning the next steps daily and utilizing my knowledgeable team to help me along until I found my way. Now I know about um, EHAT DP. I'm not sure if that's a misspelling or what, but DPI is required for printing.
Dots
C,
per inch. Dots per inch.
oh, okay, dot per inch. Um,
That's a printing reference.
okay. CMYK colors versus RGB formatting pages, and what to do for my preference for the title at the top of the cover. Chris, are there more Fog Within stories you want to tell? Sean, I have outlined every page for 12 issues. These would be broken down into three, 4 issue story arcs. As long as we fund, I will be able to continue the story. Okay, Chris. Any cool crowdfunding perks this campaign offers? Sean, my favorite is the drawn in tier.
Everybody got those.
What was that?
Everybody has a drawn in tier. I can see by.
Yeah. Do you?
No, I never did those.
Okay.
But
So
I'm just saying
because you're the exception.
I'm just I'm just saying it just kind of seems like everybody kind of does the same kind of perks.
Yeah.
I like to see somebody shake it up though.
Mm.
Try something different.
Hmm.
Set yourself apart from the pack.
Hmm.
You know.
You get to become one of the rebels in the book. Guest star in the credits, T-shirt, 6 standee of Hunter, um, the physical copy and digital deluxe. I also love the stretch goal of adding a 4-page backstory of my character Epsilon at $4,000. Chris, anything else you would like to share with our readers before we sign off? Sean, I hope everyone loves this book as much as me and my team. We are having a blast creating these twist and turn moments to shock and surprise you. Chris, good luck, Sean. Now we get to Pistol Shrimp by Charlie McFarlane.
Yes, the title. That's an interesting title.
Yeah.
It sounds too silly to be taken seriously. Is it a serious comic book?
Well, before we get into it, let's see what Elk had to say. The writing on the Kickstarter itself is awkward and stilted, and it appears he will fail to fund. He is sadly lumpen pro proletariat, working in retail 12 years. Let's see. What BVI? Why do Americans want heroic rebels? I'd rather read about a constabulary. All right.
Well, if you don't like what we Americans do, you know you can grant it.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, Pistol Shrimp by Charlie McFarlane. So, it looks like a western. An anthropomorphic western.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, well, look at that. That creature doesn't look human, does it?
No, it doesn't.
And the setting looks like it's like Old West or Wild West setting. Anyways, let me go grab the link here so we can put it in the chat for people to be able to go. And Kickstarter 3 for 3 tonight. And here we go with this one. So here's the link to this article if you guys want to go check that out. And also, guys, just a reminder, if you guys haven't already, if you guys can like and share the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people on here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. With that, so there's the link to Pistol Shrimp. If you guys want to go check that out. So let's get into the crust of the book itself from King Brillup Comics. All right, Chris Braley, welcome to ICS. Charlie, hit me with the elevator pitch for Pistol Shrimp. Charlie McFarland, Pistol Shrimp is under the sea western about a gun-slinging shrimp on a quest to find his missing wife. So you got undersea western.
And is that Pistol Shrimp? Which one is that again?
Pistol Shrimp, the one we're looking at right now.
Oh, Under the Sea Western. See, I called it.
Yeah. What if Charlie McFarlane's related to Seth MacFarlane? Probably not.
Know.
Probably not. And here's the art to it, of course.
Cool.
I mean that must be a real stinky funeral, considering what dead fish smell like, right?
Right? Damn. Yeah, nasty.
uh, Chris, where did the crazy idea for this comic come from, and led to your decision to self-publish? Charlie, it spawned from a discussion with my friends about the coolest sounding animals in the animal kingdom. Naturally, the pistol shrimp was my favorite. I decided to self publish after a bad experience with the publisher of my previous comic book series, The Citizen, and I figured this way I would be able to end the series on my own terms. Hmm. Look at these fish. They're kind of an interesting design here, huh?
Very interesting.
Chris, what kind of comic reader is Pistol Shrimp aimed at? Charlie, I recommend the book for any readers 12 and up who enjoy comedy, action stories. I'd compare the tone of the comic to a
So it's a
series.
it's a comedy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Compare the tone of the comic to a series like Chew or Axe Cop. Now, Chew, I believe, I don't know if that was Image but I know Chew was, I think, one of the lesser known companies.
Chew.
I think that was Image, I think.
I
But
don't know.
the only reason I know it is because I've seen the title when I've done my this Daily history.
I'd like to say I know. Like I said, after the '90s, I didn't pay attention to Image after that.
Yeah. Chris, tell us about how you approached a story like this, or any of your work as a writer. Um, Charlie, my biggest goal with my writing is to make every issue feel like a complete story, even if I'm telling a longer narrative that spans multiple issues. I want to make sure you always feel like you got a solid story, even if you picked up an issue at random. Here's some more of the artwork. If they are underwater, it's interesting how you can get I guess, a pipe there, not blowing smoke bubbles, blowing water bubbles there. You see that? See that one fish? Kind of, I don't know,
Yes.
call it smoking a pipe there.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, Chris, tell me about your creative team on this project. Charlie, the series is illustrated by artist Luis Morocho, um, an incredible talent. He was a selected artist in the Marvel Voices project and got to draw Miles Morales for an anthology. The colorist is Antonio Ramos Wong, who was recommended by Morocho. Um, they've worked together many times, and Antonio's colors complement his art perfectly. And the letterer, Buddy Baudouin, um, who has worked for several major publishers, became familiar with him through his work on the Ringo nominated series Crash and Troy. There's a shark right there. That looks like a shark right there.
Yeah.
Look at that. A fish with what looks like a nose ring right there. See that?
Yeah. I see that.
Chris, what's your current production workload looking like? Is this issue finished and ready for print? Charlie, Pistol Shrimp is my main goal right now. All of the art for the second
Pardon me.
issue is complete. Though it still needs to be colored and lettered, if we hit our funding goal, I expect the book to be completed around early May. And there's Pistol Shrimp right there, I'm guessing. What do you think of that? What do you think of that design right there?
Yeah, it's a shrimp with a cowboy hat.
Chris, what have you been learning from crowdfunding with these campaigns? Any lessons you can share? Charlie, our Kickstarter campaign for the first issue was a success, but still a major learning experience. You should never go into the crowdfunding experience empty handed. Show your work and know you're not entitled to anything. You have to earn any attention your book gets. Chris, what are your plans beyond this book? Charlie, I've got two other comics in the pipeline at the moment. One with the co creator of my last series that I'm pretty excited about, but it's still really early in development. Chris, any special features in this crowdfunding campaign you want our readers to know about? Charlie, we've got 3 covers to offer this time around, and I reached out to 2 other artists for these to make sure no 2 covers felt the same. I'm also excited about the Indie Comics bundle. Several other creators allowed me to offer the first issues of their series as a tier level. Anything else you would like to share with or readers before with our readers before we sign off? Um, Charlie, just that I know there's a lot of great indie comics out there right now,
Wow.
and if you've taken the time to read them, read mine, I don't take it for granted. It truly means the world to me. Also, the first issue is completely free to read on Global Comics. Thanks, Shirley. This looked fun. That's it for this installment. If you're a creator ramping up your own campaign or have a comic available for purchase online and you want to be featured in our weekly column, click here and follow Indie Comics Showcase on Twitter at Indie Comics and reach out to them for eyes on your crowdfunding comic project. Until next time, support Indie Comics. All right. Oh, there we go with that one. So, well, Tim, let's see. Let's first up. I think there's a couple of things that Elk wanted to say here. So let's look at what he has to say. The writing of the Kickstarter is tons better. Ion's better. The fog and the characters have some visual originality, at least. He doesn't look like he will fund. The artist is a diversity hire for both the left and right. Marvel picked him because he isn't white. The author hired him for less money because he isn't white. All right, I don't know. I don't really know what all that has to do with the comic itself. You know, I mean, obviously he went the independent route. You know, but anyways, So, Tim, what did you think of the materials we went over, of the comics we went over tonight?
Sorry, I had to. My dog likes to jump in here and kind of go underneath the covers, so she needs to be tucked in. So I had to take care of that.
Okay. Are you still taking care of it, or
I took care of it.
okay? All right. So what I was asking you was, what did you think of the material we went over tonight?
It was alright. There's so many campaigns out there. It's just like, okay, that's cool.
Hmm. I remember last week when I had you on here for this, you were more excited about the material we read last week. This week
Right.
it seemed like kind of ho hum to you, and I was just wondering if there's
Oh well,
any.
I mean, well, it's just like it's cool ideas, but there's so many ideas out there that's like, okay, cool. It's not that there is anything wrong with the material. It's just that's cool.
Hmm. Was there anything here that grabbed your attention that you might be interested in getting, or
The Western one probably.
okay?
Maybe it'd have to be funnier, I guess. I don't know. I haven't seen. I mean, it didn't kind of like, oh my gosh, that's hilarious looking.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, that might be kind of like amusing.
All right. All right. So with that, so we got through that. We're already at the 46, going on 47-minute mark here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start to wind things down a bit. We're gonna get into the wrestling wrap up. We do have some things to go over real quick. Of course, we got a couple big events coming up this weekend. WWE has its WrestleMania event, and Ring of Honor. That's coming up Saturday and Sunday, and then tomorrow night, Ring of Honor is having its Supercard of Honor event. So we'll be talking a little bit about that. And then, of course, go over what happened on last night's Dynamite as they continue to prepare for their Dynasty pay per view in about a couple more weeks here. So with that, why don't let me go ahead and talk a little bit about. So this
I mean,
weekend,
let
oh,
me ask you a question. Is it wrong that I thought, well, that's cool? I mean, am I
what was
wrong?
that?
I said, am I wrong for thinking that maybe it's like there's so many campaigns out there that it's like, oh, that's cool.
No, I mean, it's not wrong. It's just how you feel about it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying anything is good or bad. I was just wanting your thoughts on it. If you had any, thoughts. Um, if you did, great. If not, that's good too. It's, you know, um, you know, um, I think that's kind of the whole point of the indie comic showcase is to help showcase a lot of these artists. Showcase, and like when you go on there, or Rick goes on there, or whoever else goes on, and does take the time with Chris Braley to go through the interview like that. You know, it's a way for the comic book artists to get the word out. You know,
Right.
so that's so it's not wrong. No, you're just expressing your viewpoint.
Right. Okay.
Anyways, so on Saturday, um, the show is supposed to open up with a match between the LWO members of Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio, taking on Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio, who are representing Legado del Fantasma and Judgment Day. You'll also have a 6-woman tag match in which Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi take on the members of Damage Control of the Women's World Tag Team Champions, Asuka and Kairi Sane, and Dakota Kai as well, in a six-pack ladder match. The unified tag titles will be on the line as the champions, representing the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest, defend the titles against Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, Awesome Truth of R-Truth and The Miz, DIY of Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, the New Day of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, the New Catch Republic of Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. In a battle of brothers, Jay and Jimmy Uso will be taking on each other. Sami Zayn goes after the Intercontinental title, looking to end Gunther's record reign as Intercontinental title. Rhea Ripley defends the Women's World title against Becky Lynch, and in the main event of night one on Saturday, Cody Rhodes and World Champion Seth Rollins team up to take on Roman Reigns and The Rock of the Bloodline. In a match with a stipulation for the main event for night two. If Rhodes and Rollins, so the night two main event will of course be Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed in WWE heavyweight title. If Rhodes and Rollins win on night one, the rest of the bloodline is banned from ringside. If The Rock and Roman Reigns win, then it's bloodline rules. So that's night one. That's night one. Now going on to night two. Talk about what's going to happen for night two at WrestleMania on Sunday. The opening match we'll see in a triple threat match for the United States title. Logan Paul defends against Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. AJ Styles takes on LA Knight in a battle for the WWE Women's title, not to be confused with the Women's World title. Io Sky of Damage Control defends against Bayley. The three-man in a six-man Philadelphia street fight. The team known as the Pride of Bobby Lashley and Bobby Lashley, as well as the Street Profits of Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, take on the Final Testament threesome of Karrion Kross and the Gates of Agony duo of Akam and Razor. The WWE World Heavyweight title will be on the line as Seth Rollins defends against Drew McIntyre, and the WWE and Universal title will be on the line as Roman Reigns defends against Cody Rhodes. And we already talked about the possible stipulations from night one that they'll be fighting for night one. So there we have that. And let me go to Ring of Honor here. I'll go over real quickly what's on tap for tomorrow night's Battle Card of Honor pay-per-view, or Super Card of Honor, rather. So tomorrow night, Super Card of Honor will feature in a fight without honor, Johnny TV, who everybody would remember as John Morrison from the WWE, takes on Dalton Castle. Kyle Fletcher defends the Ring of Honor World Television title against Big Shotty Lee Johnson. In a 6-woman tag match, the tag team of Queen's Quest of AZM and Saya Kamitani, team with Tom Nakano, take on the duo of Empress Nexus Venus, Micah and Mina Shirakawa and May Sierra. In the tournament final to crown the first Ring of Honor World Women's Television title, Billy Starks takes on Queen Aminata. Athena defends the ROH Women's World title against 3-time AEW Women's World Champion Hikaru Shida. And 11 years to the date after his brother won the Ring of Honor World title, Mark Briscoe gets his shot as he challenges Ring of Honor World Champion Eddie Kingston for the Ring of Honor World title. Now that we got all the stuff to look forward to, now we'll take a quick look back what happened on last night's Dynamite and just kind of go over the results from that real quick before we finish it. On, of course, last night's Dynamite, Will Ospreay defeated Powerhouse Hobbs in a match between members of the Don Callis family. Ryan Danielson defeated Lance Archer. Billy Gunn defeated Jay White via DQ.
Billy Gunn, like badass Billy Gunn.
He's
He's still
still
wrestling?
wrestling. Now, granted, he's wrestling more in tag teams these days because he's like 60 years old.
Right.
But this match was set up on last week's Rampage episode when Jay White and Billy's sons, Austin and Colton, who are heels, and Billy's a face, by the way, so bad guy, good guy kind of thing. They basically broke into Billy's house when he wasn't home. Were looking like they were going to take a bat to some of his stuff, and then his wife walk in and go, "What the bleep?"
Okay.
So that's how this match is. But there's kind of a bit of a rivalry because Billy Gunn, along with the tag team known as the Acclaimed,
that seems like it's been done before, hasn't it?
Huh?
That whole setup where I feel like that's been done before, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been done a few times, but over the years. But Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed are currently the AEW World Trios Champion. Jay White and the Gunn Club, as they're called, Austin, Colton, Gunn, who happen to be Billy Gunn's sons, are the Ring of Honor World Six-Man Tag Champions, and they've been in a bit of a rivalry for the last month or so. In the first of the two semifinal matches to crown the new AEW World Tag Team titles, which were vacated when Sting retired after he and Darby Allin won his retirement match at Revolution, the Young Bucks defeated the Best Friends of Trent Beretta and Orange Cassidy. And then the main event saw former AEW Women's World title defeat Mariah May, which is what will lead to her getting a shot at current AEW Women's World Champion Toni Storm at Dynasty. So that's all we got with a wrestling wrap up for you guys. So now what we're going to do is we're going to wrap up by going through this day in each history. As today is Thursday, April 4th, 2024. So let's take a look back at this day in each history. History! Yeah. All right. So first off, actually, I should have checked first. The blasted cursor. Oh, there it is. I have trouble finding the cursor there. Let's see. Oh, yeah, 2004. 2004 as well. 2009, and then 1994. Okay, so now that we know, let me. All right, so first off, we're going to head back 30 years ago, as on this date, 30 years ago today, back in 1994. The 10th issue of Secret Weapons from Valiant Comic went on sale on this date back in 1994. Sold for $2.25 for 32 pages. The story was Search and Destroy, written by Joe St. Pierre, penciled by Gabriel Morissette. Gonzalo Mayo did the inking, lettering done by Jose Albello, and then Mike Cavallaro did the color. So with that, so on this date, 30 years ago today, 10th issue of Secret Weapons from Valiant Comics went on sale on this date, 30 years ago today. Moving on to 2004, 20 years ago today. On this date, okay, no, that's 2009. So on this date in 2004, the the adult animated sitcom Home Movies, would end its run on Adult Swim on this date back in 2004. It started out 1999 on UPN and then was canceled and came back on Adult Swim. But the final episode would air on this date in 2004, 20 years ago, of Home Movies. And 2004 is just so nice that we're going to hit it twice. And also on this date in 2004, Studio Pierrot's Midori Days premiered on Japanese television this date in 2004. On this date in 2004, Studio Pierrot's Midori Days premiered on Japanese television on this date in 2004. So, and finally, in 2009, 15 years ago today, an independent wrestling organization called Dreamwave was founded in LaSalle, Illinois. So Dreamwave Wrestling is an Illinois-based professional wrestling company. It offers families budget-friendly wrestling shows to attend that all can enjoy at any age level. Promotion closed in 2016, but returned in 2022. So on this date in 2009, Dreamwave Wrestling opened its doors in LaSalle, Illinois. It's an independent independent promotion, so you wouldn't have probably heard of it much. Like it's not like one of the basically just kind of in that area. They just do shows in that specific area. So with that, before we head out, of course, Tim, did you want to do an outro or anything like that, or?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
All right. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. So of course, we'll be back here tomorrow night. RJ Carter will be joining me as we will be doing our weekly look back through comics history. We'll be doing our historical comic retrospect. Tomorrow we'll be focusing in on books that went on sale in February 1940 from Harvey Comics. Well, was it known as Harvey Comics Volume 1, Issue 7 from Brookwood Publications, and then of course Champion Comics Volume 1, Issue 6 from Worth Carnahan. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.